Good day, my dear viewers. Today we're talking about indices, and you know that it's from Easy A Plus. However, I've changed my name to Lewin Academy, so if you see Lewin Academy, you know that it's from Easy A Plus. Alright, so the topics that we'll be doing are the laws of indices and the examples along with the laws. We'll also be doing 3 questions on indices and questions that you can answer yourselves, and I'll also show you the answer for them. So let's go straight into it. Indices is not difficult, however it might take a little focus as there are different laws that you have to be aware of in order to be able to answer any indices question. So law number 1 states that suppose you have a number a raised to m and you multiply that number by the same a, so you multiply the number by the same coefficient and you raise that number to n. Then if the numbers have the same coefficient, then the law says that you can simply add its indexes and you will have a raised to m plus n. So for example, you have 3 squared plus 3 to the 5th. The law said that once we have the same coefficient, then we can simply say 3 raised to 2 plus 5, which is equal to 3 raised to 7, right? Law number 2 states that if you have 2 numbers and they are the same coefficient, then a number raised to m and that number raised to n, then you can simply minus its indexes. For example, we have 2 raised to 6 divided by 2 raised to 3, and the answer would be 2 to the 6 minus 3, and that will be equal to 2/3, right? And law number 3 is very simple. I'm sure you remember this one. It says that a, or any number raised to 0, that number is equal to 1. So for example, 5 raised to 0, that is equal to 1. If you had 50 raised to 0, 100 raised to 0, 1 million raised to 0, it'll always be equal to 1, right? And law number 4, where you have any number raised to the negative index of the number, then you're going to flip that number around and you're going to put 1 as the numerator and a raised to the index as the denominator. For example, you have 2 raised to negative 7, then that will be equal to 1 over 2 raised to 7, and vice versa. Suppose you had 1 over 2 raised to 7, you can always convert it to 2 raised to minus 7. Law number 5, suppose you have a number a to the m multiplied by another index, and the law says that you can simply multiply those indexes, so it will be a to the m. An example of this is where we have 2 raised to 4 to the 5th, right? Then you can simply multiply the 4 and the 5, and then you have 2 raised to 20, right? Law number 6, don't worry, the laws will soon be finished. Law number 6 is where you have 2 numbers being multiplied by 1 index. So suppose you have a times b all raised to an index m. Then you can simply do the distribution law and you can simply multiply each number in the bracket by the same index. So for example, you have xy raised to 4, then that will be equal to x raised to 4 and y raised to 4, right? Law number 7. Suppose you have a square root of a number, right? Then that number will be equal to that number raised to a half. Always remember that square root means a half. So example, suppose you have 5, square root of 5, then the square root of 5 will be equal to 5 and 5 raised to a half, or the square root of 5 and a half will equally be the same as square root of 5. And law number 8 suppose you have a number, a square root of a number, the root of a number along with the square root of a number. So 6 root 3 will be the same as 6 raised to 1/3. Or suppose you had 6 root 4, it will equal to 6 raised to a quarter, or 6 root 5, 6 raised to 1/5. So it all, you just simply put it 1 over the number that it is root to, right? Okay, so now we'll be doing some free questions on indices, right? Now, after doing these three questions that I'll be showing you, I'm positive that you'll be able to master indices, along with you keep practicing afterwards. So the first question that we'll be doing is 2 to the n plus 1 multiplied by 12 to the n minus 1, all divided by 3 to the n plus 1 multiplied by 8 to the n minus 1. So when you see a question like this, you might be wondering how to attempt it. So you just attempt it one at a time, and you just do what you can do one at a time. So the first thing that I would say to you is you try to convert everything into the smallest unit, because remember with indices you have to have the same coefficient. So you can see 12 and 8 are not the same coefficients, so you can try and convert them to a number that is 2 or 3. So you put back 2n plus 1, 12n minus 1, 3n plus 1, but the 8 here can be converted to 2 to the 3, right? And so you could convert the 8 to 2 to the 3. Then you can change 12 to 2 times 2 times 3, right? And 2 times 2, that's 2 squared times 3, so that's what we did right here, right? And then you continue with the question. So if it's like this, not way like this, then you just simply start multiplying. So 2 to the n plus 1, then 2, and then you're going to remember what the law said, you multiply everything outside. You multiply everything outside with what inside. So you're going to multiply the 2 with the n minus 1, and also the 3 with the n minus 1, right? So if you do that, then you write this back, then you'll have 2 times n minus 2, because 2 times negative 1 is equal to negative 2, and then invisible 1 is right here, so 1 times n is n, 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. All divided by, you're going to multiply out this right here, you're going to have 3n, 3 times negative 1, that's 3, right? Okay. And so what the law says also is that, so after you have finished work out as far as possible as you can, then you're going to put the coefficient to be the 2 or the 3, the any lowest coefficient that you have. And once the term is in the numerator, once the term is in the denominator, you're going to put it up and change the sign, right? So you had 2 right here, you had 2 right here, and you have 2 down here. So this 2 right here, n plus 1, you're going to write it back, and you're going to also write back this one back, 2n minus 2, 2n minus 2. But for this one, you're going to carry it up, and you're going to minus the term from the ones up here. And so you're going to be having negative 3n plus 3. Because it's carrying it up, you have to change the sign. Likewise, you do the same thing for the 3. So you have n minus 1, and then you carry it up, right? So if you're carrying it up, remember you have to change the sign. So that will be n minus 1 minus n minus 1. Okay? And then you simply evaluate from there. You simply calculate right here. You have the answer right there. You do the same for right here. N cancels n, negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And then you have 2 raised to 2, 3 raised to negative 2. And then your answer will be equal to 4 over 3 squared. Because remember what the law says, once you have a negative index, you can put it in the denominator as positive, and then your answer will eventually equal to 4 over 9. That wasn't so hard, though. Next, we have question number 2, which is not that difficult. So we have 4 raised to 3n plus 6, which is equal to 1. That's the question, right? So what would you do? As I said before, you try to put both the coefficients on equal sides. Try to put coefficients to be the same. So 4 is also the same as 2 squared, and you put that back. And 1 is also the same as 2 raised to 0. Remember that law? Okay, so 2, and then you're going to multiply whatever is outside with the index in here. You get 6n plus 12, still equal to 2 to the 0. Then you say, oh, one important thing you must bear in mind is that whenever you're equating two indices, then the index, once they have the same coefficient, then the index of both sides of the equation will be equal. So we have the same coefficient, so the indexes are equal. So we have 6n plus 12, which is equal to 0. You work it out, and then we have n is equal to negative 2. Okay, so for number 3, it's very much simple as well. So for example, suppose you get a question where 2 is raised to 2x minus 5 raised to 2x plus 4 is equal to 0, right? Then remember what the law said, whatever is multiplied in here, multiplied out here the same, right? So you can also flip this to x multiplied by 2, because 2 times x is equal to 2x, just the same. Minus 5 raised to 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. To make it more simpler, to make you understand it better, then you can change 2x and let it be y. If you let 2x be y, then you could put y wherever you see 2x. And if you do that, then you'd have y squared minus 5y plus 4. Look more simpler, don't? You're already familiar with quadratic equation. If you should factorize this, then you will get y minus 1 multiplied by y minus 4 is equal to 0. After you get it in a way that it's more easy to understand, then you write back the 2x where the y was, and you know that yx, after you calculate this, 2x is equal to 1, or 2x will be equal to 4, right? And then you say 2x is equal to 0, 2 raised to 0, because the 1 right here, same thing as 2 raised to 0, x will be equal to 0. You do the same thing over here, and x will be equal to 2. So now I want you to try some for yourselves. The question that I want you to try for yourself is, you can always pause the video and I'll show you the answer afterwards. So here is number 1, here is number 2, and here is number 3. Pause the video and try each of them for yourselves. Okay, so the answer for the questions that I gave you before: for number 1, n is equal to 1. For number 2, n is equal to 5 over 6. And for number 3, x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3. If you did not get these numbers, these answers for your, if you didn't get these answers, then I want you to watch the video again. I want you to try them over again. I want you to see the rules that I applied and try again and see if you get the same answers. Don't give up until you get the same answers. If you're still not getting the same answers, you can always email me and ask me, or I can show you how it was done. So that's the end of my presentation. Please like and comment on my video. Please subscribe to my channel as well, Learn Lewin Academy. And I'll be doing the next video on logarithms, so you can always stay up to date as I upload them. Thank you for watching. Bye.